This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Yeah, Beis, Baruchim Abam to the Kol Igur de Pirka, Freilach and Chanukah. Okay, we have a very interesting topic to discuss this morning. It may not be so lemaisa, may not be so practical, but it's fundamental to understanding the chiyuvim of Mahadrin and the chiyuvim of Halakas Ner Chanukah. So we begin like this. Let's say, for instance, it's the third night of Chanukah. Say last night. That's why we don't want to give the Shir Monday, because Monday is the second day. No. Let's say it's the third night of Chanukah, and you only have 2 candles. So how many candles should you light? How many neros should you light? Do we say, look, the Iker Chiyuv is 1. The Iker Chiyuv is 1. So the only reason to light more than 1 is to signify what day it is. But if you're not signifying what day it is, what's the point in lighting 2? Or do we say, the more the merrier. Yeah. It's the third day, I can't light 3, at least I'll light 2. At least I'll light 2. Okay, so the Beis Halevi writes in his Kunshus on Chanukah, if you have the Sefer Beis Halevi that you got in 8th grade, so Beis Halevi, for your bar mitzvah gift, so Beis Halevi has until somewhere through Sefer Shemmai, but by Parshas Miketz, he has a whole Kunshus on the Gemara Masechta Shabbos, my Chanukah. So Beis Halevi writes like this. He writes very simply. Bahari bevadai, it is certain. The imbelel shlishi ein loy rak shnei neros. If you only have 2 candles on the third night, dein tzarich lahadlik rak ner echad. You only have to light 1 candle. Iker hachiyuv, the main chiyuv, right? We know what are the mitzvahs Chanukah is ner shubeisai. The main mitzvah, the Iker mitzvah, is 1 candle. Mahadrin is ner l'chalecha b'yachad. Mahadrin min mahadrin is peiches v'hailech or moisef v'hailech. But if you're not going to be able to be moisef v'hailech, you light 1 candle, which is the Iker Chiyuv. V'hasheni en tzarich lahadlik klal. You wouldn't have to light the 2nd candle at all. D'mai hider ika b'leil shlishi. What hider is there to light on the third night of Chanukah b'shnei neros kiven de'eno f'minyan hayomim if it's not according to the number of days of Chanukah? In other words, third day of Chanukah, 2 neros. Says the Beis Halevi, there's no point at all in lighting 2 neros. So what should you do? It's Parsha. Vadai, you only light 1. 1. Right? Makes sense. The reason to light 3, 4, 5 is according to what day of Chanukah it is. If you're not signifying what day, on the 8th day of Chanukah you light 4 candles, it doesn't make any sense. So therefore, says Beis Halevi, if you don't have the right number of neros, light 1. Does everybody agree to the Beis Halevi? No. Of course not.
But today you light it up at home on the table and you are by yourself.
You mean, everybody has enough candles. Whoa.
Oh, no, I'm saying if a person has 2 candles, according to the Beis Halevi to light only 1, but what about that today we all light, let's say, at the house, inside, and you are by yourself, so why you not want to do Mahadrin?
No, the question, you don't have enough candles for that night.
Put 2 instead of 1.
Why 2? But it's the third night of Chanukah.
So who is going to...
How long is the light?
Yeah. So... Now the question is, again, it's the third night of Chanukah. You only have 2 candles. So the question is, should you go to the Iker Chiyuv, which is 1, or do we say light as many as you can? That's the question.
That would be true on any night.
As many as you can.
Yeah. But the discussion is specifically on the third night, just because it's the earliest... Okay. So says Rav Shach. Rav Shach writes in his Chidushim on the Rambam Hilchos Chanukah, he says like this, it's pashut the other way. Not only, says Rav Shach, should you light 2 on the third night of Chanukah, it's pashut you should light 2 on the third night of Chanukah. Look at Rav Shach, in the Avi Ezri, V'da, dinira borer, it's obvious, it's clear. B'mishai may be yom shlishi, someone who's on the third day of Chanukah, ve'ein lo shlosh neros, he doesn't have 3 candles. D'mikamaka madlik shtei neros, at least light 2. So you'll say, maybe we should say, what do you mean? You're not fulfilling the hiddur of 3. V'loy amrinan. We don't say hiddur loy nishlam rak v'shloisha, that the only way to be mahader is to have 3. Ve'alkein imein lo shloisha. If you don't have 3, sagi b'ner echad, it should be enough with 1 ikar achiyav. You may say that. You may say if I can't get everything, so just do one. No, Tzeino. Devada yesh hider af v'shtayim b'yom shlishi gamke. Certainly, on the third day of Chanukah, if you can't get 3, it's a hider to light 2. 2 is better than 1. V'mein yachal lasas a hider b'kulai. If you can't do the whole hider, v'shvil zois lo yasa klal, you shouldn't do it at all. Let's say you have you go to the store. I want to buy the most beautiful esrog possible. So you say, I'm sorry, I already sold the most beautiful esrog. If you don't have the most beautiful esrog, then just give me the ugliest esrog. You don't say that, right? You try to get the nicest esrog as possible. So if you can't light 3 the third night, fine. So at least light 2.
What about outside? People will see 2 instead of 3.
What's the maris? There's a maris ayin?
Yeah.
What's the maris ayin?
The Pirsum Anesa. The whole purpose of Neros is Pirsum Anesa. Suddenly you're gonna have only 2. So only.
Do you find that you have to light 2 to tell people what night of Chanukah is, or it's keneged it? So, when you're lighting the Chanukah, the purpose is so to instruct people what night of Chanukah is. No, people know on their own. They look at their calendar. You light to fulfill
Either mehadrim or mehadrim min mehadrim. If the mehadrim, so it's 1. Everybody knows it's 1. But if it's mehadrim min mehadrim, so you have to put 3. If you don't have 3, don't put 2.
Okay, I hear. Rav Shach says no. 2 is better than 1. We'll have to see how that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? Yeah, Tavla Mason. Logically I would say like you, right? Because the inyan of lighting more than 1 is to show what day it is. If you're not showing what day it is, it doesn't, to me it shouldn't make any sense to light 2 or 3 if it's not that day.
No, it's mostly for holidays.
And you have also the Shammai now.
You're still Mosif.
I'm not Mosif.
You are. In other words, you're showing.
No.
You don't have enough. You're still showing that you're putting more than.
No, yesterday I lit 2.
Than the minimum.
Yesterday I lit 2. So I'm not being Mosif if I light 2.
Use the Shammai candle.
Over the minimum.
Yeah, but Mosif Ahilich means being Mosif over yesterday. So you're saying Mosif Ahilich means over the Iker. Okay, we'll have to see.
It's quality, not quantity.
Well, sometimes quantity is quality,
So why don't we do 8 every night?
So we have to see. Okay, says Rav Shach, if you can't, because you can't do hiddur and everything, you shouldn't do anything at all. Why should the third day of Chanukah be worse than the second day? Yeah? Says Rav Shach, what I'm telling you right now, that you should light 2 on the third day, chiddush, it's pashut u'bara. You see this? V'u pashut u'bara. This is obvious. This is clear. Ve'ein tzarich lefnim. You don't need any rayas. Says Rav Shach, u'tmihani b'zeh. This is a pliya. Amashakasav b'sefer Beis HaLevi lehilchos Chanukah. That which the Beis HaLevi writes in Hilchos Chanukah. Now look above, it was on page 59. L'davar pashut, the Beis HaLevi says it's pashut, shemein loy v'lel shlishi rak shtei neros shemadlik echad, that if you don't have on the third night only 2, you should light 1. Iker hachiyov, because the Beis HaLevi says the my hidr iker v'lel shlishi b'shtei neros, says Rav Shach, Be'anoichi lo yadati mara al kacha lechadesh b'zeh. I don't know what the man is talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. U pasha she'eno kain. It's pasha not like him. Now, off the bat I would say, Beis HaLevi is saying something very logical. Like you said, the main mitzvah is 1. Mahajin is everyone lights 1 Mahajin, and Mahajin is you want to signify the day. If you're not signifying the day, what are you lighting 5 candles on the 8th night? Right? That's what Rav Shach wants you to do. If you don't have 8 candles on the 8th night, at least light 5.
But who you want to signify the day? To who? To yourself.
That's the it. Why am I lighting 8 on the 8th day? To be meramis.
Mahadrim and Mahadrim.
What's the Mahajin of lighting 8? Why not 800? Why not 90? Why not 3? Keneged the Yom. But if it's not Keneged the Yom, what's the point of lighting 5 candles on the 8th night? But Rav Shach says no. It's pashut. You have to light 5 candles. It's pashut. So the question is, well, what exactly is this machlokes? Where they each say, Beis HaLevi says it's pashut. You don't light more candles if it's not in accordance with what night it is. And Rav Shach says no. It's pashut. You do light. What exactly is this machlokes? Okay, so we have to see the Gemara inside.
Where Beis HaLevi say pashut?
He says vaday. He says vaday.
Pashut?
Yeah, vaday. He
The Rav Shach say Pashut, but Bet HaLevi didn't say Pashut.
The Rav Shach says the Beis HaLevi writes it as a davar pashat. In other words, if you look at the Beis HaLevi, he's not even saying, I want to tell, Klal Yisrael have a chiddush to tell. He's just saying an agavorcha as if, this is, it's a davar pashat. Okay. So let's see the Gemara inside. The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos, Chaf Alpha, and Beis Tana Rabbana.
Why Bet HaLevi choose the third day?
It's the first time it's what day should he choose? The only
Fifth.
if
fourth.
two to light one on the second day. Of course, you light one on the second day if you only have one. The third day is the first time that the shaila is nageh. Right, the third day is the first time that you can have a shaila if you don't have enough candles. Can I get
What
that
about on
young?
the fifth day? You have only 4 candles.
Yeah, the same thing.
So what, you're gonna?
But the
how many
first
you gonna
time
light
in
according to the Bet HaLevi, 1.
Well, and then the Reb Shach would say 4. Yeah, same thing. Just so he's talking about it's the first time on Chanukah the shaila
When
comes
it's,
out.
yeah.
Okay, Tanu Rabbana, mitzvahs Chanukah.
The real shaila is,
Yeah.
you're on an island, there's no candles tomorrow, you're not going to get anything, no oil, anything like that, and you have enough for 5. What do you do then?
You have enough for what?
5.
5
All
what?
Hanukkah. You're not going to have, what do you do then?
How many total candles do you have?
5.
So you light one for the first day, one the second day, one the third day, one the fourth day, one the fifth day.
And then you stop.
Then that's it. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. Mitzvahs Chanukah.
You can cut them.
Well, you cannot cut the candles to 2? Then you have 10.
Well, if you could cut it in 2, then we wouldn't have a shiloh here, right?
Then you don't have the half an hour.
Then you don't have...
Shaila is, you have to do it for half an hour. Let's say you don't have enough. Right?
Yes, you have to do a half hour.
Even
Yeah, it's ma'akiv. Half hour is ma'akiv. Yeah. Okay, Tanu Rabban. Mitzvahs Chanukah ner ishu basically. The ikar mitzvah of ner Chanukah is a candle for a man in his household. The mahadrin is ner l'chol echad v'yachad, is one candle for each. The mahadrin min mahadrin. Beis Shammai Yoimrim Yom Rishon Madlik Shmoina Mikan ve'elach Peiches. Beis Shammai says the first day you light 8, then you go down. Beis Hillel Yoimrim, Beis Hillel says Yom Rishon Madlik Achas. First day you light 1. Mikan ve'elach Moisef Ha'elach. From there on you go up. Okay, we're not going to get confused, but there's a famous machlokes between Tosfos and the Rambam. What exactly is Mahadrin min ha-Mahadrin? Tosfos says Mahadrin min ha-Mahadrin is going back on the Iker Chiyuv, that according to Tosfos, Mahadrin min ha-Mahadrin is one person. Lights 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the opinion of Tosfos, and that's the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch. Maran Bet Yosef. That's what the Sfaradim do. Yep. One person is Moisef HaHilech. The opinion of the Rambam's opinion is that you light. The Rambam's opinion is Mahadrin min ha-Mahadrin is each person goes up. Ashkenazim follow the Rambam. The Sfaradim follow Tosfos. Some say that's the Iker Nes of Chanukah. The Iker Miracle of Chanukah.
No, we follow the Bet
is the Ashkenazim follow the Rambam, and the Sfaradim follow Tosfos. Right?
Another mitzvah that has a klal like this?
No, it's only mitzvah. It's only mitzvah with these 3 madrikos. Okay. Now Tosfos asks on the Rambam. Yeah, you Rambam say everybody has to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ask Tosfos on the Rambam. If that's the case, people who see are not going to know what day it is, because they're just going to think more people are lighting. They're not going to realize that you're going up, and therefore Tosfos is of the opinion the Iker mitzvah everybody lights 1. Excuse me, the Baal Bayis lights 1. Mahadrin is everybody lights 1. Mahadrin min ha-Mahadrin is one person goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but we're not going to get into that right now. Right now we want to understand the machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Why does Beis Shammai say you go down? Why does Beis Hillel say you go up? Amar Ula. Ula said, "Pligi b'trei Amorai b'Marava." There was machlokes between 2 Amoram in Eretz Yisrael. Between who? Between Rabbi Yossi bar Avin and Rabbi Yossi bar Zvida. Chad Amar. One opinion says, "I'll tell you machlokes Beis Shammai." Time in the Beis Shammai keneged Yomim Hanachnasan. Beis Shammai says you go down keneged how many days left? On the first day you light 8 days left. On the second day you light 7 days left. On the third day you light 6 days left. Keneged the Yomim that are entering. The time of the Beis Hillel keneged Yomim hayotzin. And according to Beis Hillel, you light according to the days that have gone. On the first day, So the first day is, you've already done the first day. The first day is over. The mitzvah, the second day you light 2, because it's 2 days are gone. Okay? Beis Shammai says connected the days that are coming. Beis Hillel says connected the days that are going. That's one way of looking at the machlokes Beis Shammai. V'chad Amar. And one man Amar says, time of the Beis Shammai connected parei hachag. That the reason of Beis Shammai corresponds to the bulls that are brought on Sukkot, right? On Sukkot, you bring how many bulls?
13.
Sukkot, how many bulls do you bring altogether?
7.
Shivim. On the first day, like you said, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, a total of 70. So says Beis Shammai, just like with the bulls you go down, yeah? So too the Neros of Chanukah, you go down. What exactly Chanukah has to do with the bulls of Sukkot? That's a big question. B'chlal, we know there are a lot of connections between Sukkot and Chanukah. Some say they pattern Sukkot after Chanukah, because just like Sukkot is 8 days and you're Gomer Sahala, look at the Bayatura and Parshas Tetzaveh, so to Chanukah is 8 days and you're Gomer the Hallel. Right? If you look in the Midrashim, it talks about how they took the Arava on and the Lulavim on Chanukah.
Because they weren't allowed to.
Actually, if you look in the Parshas Tetzaveh, you have Basukas Teshu, right? You have in Parshas Emor, you have the Yom Tov of Sukkot, Basukas Teshu Shilas Yamim, and then V'yikoylecha Shem and Zayisach. So we see already in the Chumash there's a connection between the Shem and Zayis and Sukkot.
They weren't allowed to celebrate it on.
I don't know.
Also, Sukkah Psula ב-20
How
Amar.
do they celebrate Sukkot and Chanukah?
Outside of
They didn't have Sukkot then.
So, but you can't celebrate Sukkot and Chanukah.
They didn't, but they made the Chag 8 days and they walked around with 11. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they patterned. There's an Indian. They patterned Chanukah after Sukkot.
Also, the
Okay.
Sukkah 20 Amar and the no 20 Amar.
Right, good. Okay, so you have machlokes between. Okay, so one more time. One opinion says the reasoning of Beis Shammai is connected Yom HaNechnasim, connected Yom HaYotzim, and one opinion is no. The reason of Beis Shammai is connected Parei HaChag, and the reason of Beis Hillel is what? The time of Beis Hillel, Malin, Kodesh, V'yein Marid. You have to go up in Kedusha, you don't go down. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Shnei Zakenim Haya B'Tzidan. There are 2 old Chachamim in Tzidan, Echad Asa K'Beis Shammai, V'Echad Asa K'Divir Beis Hillel. The one that followed Beis Shammai said the reason he follows Beis Shammai is Keneged the Parim of Sukkot. So we have Machlokes Amoram. What is the pshat in Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel? Is it Keneged the Yom HaNechnasim, Keneged HaYamim HaYotzim, or do we say no? It's Keneged the Parei HaChag or Malin B'Kodesh Ve'ein Moridin?
Sfirat Omer we do according to Beit Hillel.
Sfiras HaOmer we do according to Beis Hillel.
That's what they come out of it.
Okay.
So why we don't learn?
Even Beis Shammai is moide by Sfiras HaOmer.
Yes, לא נכנס, the one that יוצא, לא נכנס.
Can. Okay. Rabbi Beis asked you a very simple question. Why is there a machlokes? What the pshat in the machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is? Who cares? What's an nafkamina? Why they argue? They argue. What do we need to know? You're going to have machlokes why they argue? Is there a nafkamina why they argue? One man number says is you lied keneged the days that are coming, keneged the days that are going. The other man number says no. Do you go down like the Parei HaChag? Do you go up because of Malam B'Kodesh? Very nice. Why would anybody argue about something that is not relevant? There's no what practical nafkamina is.
How many nerot will be on the menorah?
What do you mean how many neros?
Not the nafkamina.
No, everybody agrees that Beis Shammai says you go down, and Beis Hillel says you go
on the
up.
first day?
According to Beis Shammai?
Yeah.
8.
8. So
Yeah.
Beit Hillel will be only 1.
Correct.
So that's the nafkamina.
No, I understand why Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel are arguing. I understand Beis Shammai says 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Beis Hillel says 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. But why is there machlokes in the Gemara? Why they argue? One man number says, I'll tell you why they argue. Beis Shammai says, Keneged the days that are nichnasim. Beis Hillel says, Keneged the days that are yotzim. And the other man number says, what are you talking about? That's not what they argue. You're mamish, you don't know what you're in Amma. Or it's Gomor. You know why they argue? Keneged the Parei HaChag or Keneged Malam B'Kodesh? Why are you fighting over why they argue? We know they argue, either down or up. Does it make an afkamina why they argue? And then, to top it off, it seems like the Gemara is coming out that we paskin that they argue for a certain reason. The Gemara says, there are two Zakanim. One Zakin said, I hold like Beis Shammai connected to Parachag. One Zakin says, I hold like Beis Hillel because of Malim B'Kodesh Ve'im Maridin. What? We're falling off of Keneged Yamim HaYotzim, Keneged Yamim HaNechnasim? So the Beis Halevi says an amazing thing. Beis Halevi says there's a nafkamina gedola between the two reasons in the Gemara for the Machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. If the reason for Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is you want to signify what day it is, let's say that Beis Shammai says Keneged Yamim HaNechnasim, Beis Hillel says Keneged Yamim HaYotzim, then on the third day of Chanukah, if you only have 2 candles, how many candles are you going to light according to Beis Hillel? 1! Because if you're not signifying what day it is, there's no reason to light more. But if the reason for Beis Hillel is Malin B'Kodesh V'yein Moiridin, then on the third night of Chanukah, if I only have 2 candles, I can't be Malin B'Kodesh because I only have 2. But at least I won't be Moiridin, and I'll light 2. So it makes a tremendous nafkamina. What's pshat in the machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel? If the machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is based on Keneged Yamim HaYotzim Yamim HaNechnasim, then I must light corresponding to what day it is. And if I don't have enough candles, I'll only light 1. But if the reason for Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is you got to go down or you got to go up, according to that reason, there's no Indian of showing what day of Chanukah it is. If the reason why Beis Shammai says go down is Keneged Parei HaChag, just like Parei HaChag, you go down. So to Chanukah, you go down. So Beis Shammai would say, on the first day you light 8. You know what Beis Shammai would say? On the first day you could light 500. And on the second day you light 70. And on the third day 62. And on the next day 17. Because Beis Shammai just has a reason to go down, like the Parei HaChag. But there's no Inyan of showing what day it is. According to Beis Hillel, the Inyan is to go up. And if you can't go up, at least don't go down. So it would come out in Afkamina, La Halacha, what's Pshat, and the Machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Says the Vilna Gaon, I'm just going to throw this out, it's not on the sheet. It's in the Bir Hagra. I actually changed the sheet, in case we ever learn this again. This is my Makam number 17. It was added this morning. The Gra says like this. We know it is Machlokes, Rambam and Tosfos. What's Pshat Mahadrin min HaMahadrin? Tosfos says what? Mahadrin min HaMahadrin is
1 light everything.
1 person lights 1, and then 2, and then 3, but not everyone else in the house goes up. The Rambam says no, everyone in the house goes up. Right? Why doesn't Tosfos like the Rambam's opinion? Right? Right? You're a Tosfos man on Chanukah. Yeah? You lit last night 3. Yeah? And the Kinderlach, they just watched you. Maybe they sang Ma'asur, but they didn't light. Yeah? Why don't you like the Rambam? You always love the Rambam, no? You've always found the Rambam. Why don't you like the Rambam? Because Tosfos says that according to the Rambam, if everyone's lighting 1, and then the next night everyone 2, and then the next night everyone 3, it's too confusing. People who look in the house, they're not going to know what night of Chanukah it is. They're just going to think, tonight you had 1 guest, tomorrow you had 4 guests, and then they're not going to understand. But what does the Rambam say to that? How's the Rambam going to answer that taina that people are not going to know what night it is? You know what the Rambam's going to answer? We don't care what night it is. We don't care what night it is. We don't care if people don't know what night it is. Why? Because since the Gemara concludes that the reasoning of Beis Hillel is what? Ma'ilin b'kodesh ve'in moridin. So all we need to do is go up. The fact that it's unclear what night of Chanukah is irrelevant in halacha, because the Gemara doesn't hold like the reason for Beis Hillel is Keneged Yamim HaYotzim. The Gemara holds like the reason for Beis Hillel is Malin B'Kodesh Ve'im Moridin. Says the Vilna Gaon that if the Gemara concludes there are 2 Zakanim, and the reason that they gave for Beis Hillel is Keneged Malin B'Kodesh Ve'im Moridin, says the Gemara that means we paskin halacha l'maisa. It doesn't matter if people don't know what night of Chanukah it is. Says the Beis Halevi, so it comes out that if you have 2 candles on the third night of Chanukah, how many candles should you light?
1. But the Levi say 1.
2.
Says the Beis Halevi in a new piece. So you should light 2.
So what happened? What happened to the first piece?
In the piece that he said earlier, that Rav Shach quoted, he said 1. But now the Beis Halevi is saying, what's the nafkamina between Malin B'Kodesh and Keneged Yamim HaYotzim? The nafkamina is if you have 2 candles the third night of Chanukah. Take a look at number 4. Yeah, look at number 4. L'chayra, My nafkamina bepluktazu. What's the nafkamina? What the reasoning of Beis Hillel or Beis Shammai is? Ulechayra yesh leimer, says the Beis Halevi. You could say, be'ein loy neiras l'chal hatzarech, if you don't have enough candles. Ukagoin, for example. Bilel shlishi on the third night. Be'ein loy rak shnei neiros, and you only have 2 candles. The timim the Beis Hillel keneged yomim hayotzim. If the reason for Beis Hillel is keneged the days that have gone, ein sarach lahadlik rak ner echad. You only have to light 1. Ikar hachiyov. Demai hider yiem yadlik belel shlishi shnei neiros. What hider is there to light 2 candles on the third night? Kimadenu keneged mispar yomim. If it's not corresponding to the number of days. Avolatam demalin bekodesh, but according to the reason of malin bekodesh, tzarich lahadlik v'shnayim. Why? Diafagav diyevshul liyos malin, even though you can't be going up, mikal makam ein lo liyos maridin, you shouldn't go down. Why should you light less than yesterday? Since you had 2.
Actually, you can say even stronger. You can say
This is said on page 57.
Go less than 2.
Here it said page 59, so I changed his mind. Supposed to bring this first.
What?
You can make it even stronger. You can say that if you only light 1 on the second night, if you don't have 2, you're like passing like Beis Shammai, because you're going low, you're going down.
If you only light 1, or when?
On the second night, you're married.
Yeah, like Beis Shammai.
Beis Shammai.
Yeah.
You're passing the wrong way.
He holds like
If you
Beis Shammai.
if you light 1 on the third night.
Pochatim, yeah.
No, but you know, you're maybe,
one.
no, maybe you're not passing like.
But last night 2, you lighted 2 yesterday, and today you're lighting 1.
Rabbi, so what would you say according to this Sar of the Beis Halevi? If you lit 1 the first night, 2 the second night, 3 the third night, 4 the fourth night, 5 the fifth night, and on the 6th night, you have 4. Should you light 4 the 6th night? What are you going to tell me? If I can't be Mila, I shouldn't be Myrid? I'm being Myrid anyway. In other words, let's say on the 5th night I lit 5, and on the 6th night I only have 3. What should you do? Should you light 1? Or should you light 3?
3. Because Malim is from Nerish or Betor. That's Malim. Malim is Nerish or Betor.
I mean, he says the reason why you should light 2 on the third night is you don't want to do less than yesterday. Yeah, so maybe at least you'll say, at least I'm not doing less than the third night. But in any event, the Beis Halevi seems to be saying over here
But here
that if you only have
page 57.
so the first problem is we have
It's page 59.
a stira in the Beis Halevi. We have a contradiction in the Beis Halevi. Here the Beis Halevi is saying right now that if a person has 2 candles on the third night, should you light 2? It will depend on the answers of the Gemara. If the reasoning of Beis Hillel is Keneged Yomim Hayotzim, then if you don't have enough Keneged a day, you should only light 1. But if the reason for Beis Hillel is what? Keneged is Mailan B'Kodesh, so then you should light 2. The problem is the Beis Halevi that we quoted in number 1, and the Beis Halevi that Rav Shach quoted said explicitly that if you don't have enough candles, you should only light 1. So why is it not a contradiction? It's simple why it's not a contradiction. Because the Beis Halevi on page 59 is going in the Manda Amar, it's Keneged Yamim, Hanachnasam Keneged Yamim. No. The reasoning of Beis Hillel being Keneged Yamim Hayotzim. If the reason of Beis Hillel is Keneged Yamim Hayotzim, then of course, on the third night, you only have 2 candles, you should light 1. But here the Beis Halevi is saying it depends on the answers of the Gemara. The problem is that Rav Shach really seems to have not quoted the Beis Halevi accurately. Because the Beis Halevi does not come out. Yeah, on page 59, that's what he says. On page 57, he's pretty clear that that if you only have enough candles, if you only have 2 candles on the third night, you do light 2. So that's pointed out in number 5.
Is Beis Halevi is from the same book, these 2 Mamarim?
Yeah, it's 2 pages apart. 2 pages apart, you can take a look. So he points out in number 5, in the Sefer Elahei Mayadai, he says, L'divrei Sefer Mishmar Halevi. The Sefer Mishmar Halevi writes that Halashon Shehetek Avi Ezri Mea Beis Halevi, when the Rav Shach quotes over from Beis Halevi, which piece is he quoting over? L'chari is quoting over from page 59. Hu Kafi Anira Lo Mehaketa Haniskar Le'el Mea Beis Halevi Kafi Shehutik Le'el. He's not quoting from page 57 that we quoted. Elahu Miketa Yosem Uchasham. He's quoting from page 59. And that's where
Rav Shach, yeah?
Yeah, that's what Rav Shach is quoting. But Lamaisa, the Beis Halevi says very clearly, based on the Vilna Gaon, and based on the fact that the Gemara concludes that the reasoning for Beis Hillel is Ma'alim B'Kodesh, that if on the third night you only have 2 candles, you should light 2. But it would seem then that Rav Shach holds that even according to the reasoning of the Gemara, that you go up in order to signify what day it is, even if you don't have enough candles to signify what day it is, Rav Shach seems to still hold that you should go up. Okay. That you should light as many candles as you have. So Rabbi say, halach l'mais, if I were to ask you, tonight's the what? Fourth, right? Somebody's going to say yesterday was the 3rd, but that's for Spirit Omer, right? Tonight's the 4th night of... I don't want to get confused with Spirit Omer. So halach, if you only have...
But for sure that Beit Shammai modi lebeit Hillel b'Sfirat Omer.
But yeah.
That's
so
for sure.
Tonight's the 4th and you only have 3 candles. Rav Shach would say...
You can still say it now.
Rav Shach would say...
After.
It's in the day. Rav Shach would say tonight you have 3 candles. How many should you light? 3. Rav Shach would say you light 3.
Ma'alim b'Kodesh.
The Beis Halevi would say... On page 59 he would say you light 1. On page 57 he would 3. So let's see, what do we do halach l'maisa? So let's see, we have a tshuva from the Ksav Sefer. Ksav Sefer writes,
He is the son of the Chatam
the
Sofer.
son of the Chatam Sefer. Shayri rosecha haniimim heiru lemuli bimei ora. He says, your sweet lines have illuminated to me in these days of light. Veheiru dvarecha b'ma'ara Torah. And your words have been illuminated with the light of the Torah. She'irartani la'ayin. You have pointed out, you have aroused me to look into the following issue. If someone doesn't have enough oil to light the number of candles that is appropriate for this night, should you add as much as you can? Or should you just light 1 candle, which is the ikar chiyav? Right? Since you can't be mahajim and mahajim in total. So what does the Ksav Sefer paskin halach l'maisa? Not like Rav Shach. L'fi aniyas daiti, pashut, de'emutav shelo yadlik rak ner echad. It's pashut. That which Rav Shach said is pashut the other way. Ksav Sefer said no, it's pashut the other way. Right? It's pashut my way that you should only light 1. Dal yedei shamoisif. Because if you're going to add ve'ino mosif kaminyan haruya lo isalayla, you're not going to add the right amount of candles. Kol ha'moisif goyreya. By adding, you're detracting. Haminyan u'memait b'nei shalayla zu, you're diminishing the miracle. You're diminishing the miracle. If you only light 1, you're not diminishing. One candle is not signifying what day it is. 1 candle is the ikar hanes.
What does he mean that it's nigra?
In other words, why are you lighting more than 1 candle on the 5th night? Because you want to show what you want to show how big the miracle was. That it didn't just go for 1 day. It went for 5 days. So if you're going to light 4, you're being migareya from the miracle. You're taking away from the miracle. So you say, sir.
You only lit 4.
Yeah. But if I'm only lighting 1 on the 4th night, I'm certainly being migareya. No. I'm not trying to show how long the miracle lasted for. I'm just trying to show there was a miracle. So that is the psak of the Ksav Sefer.
Why not light 8 candles all 8 days? I don't understand. If you really want to have light, you want to have, simcha, bring more light. Put 8 lights all 8 days.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Do us halal. We said halal today. Chatzi halal or halal shalem?
Halal Shalom.
Halal shalem. Why do we say halal shalem? Right? Why is it a halal
Because
shalem?
every day was a new...
Because you have to say every day was a new miracle.
Yes, yeah.
So if you're going to light 8 candles every day of Chanukah, then people are going to see it as one continuous miracle. By going up, so you see the miracle increases, that allows us to say the halal shalom. Okay.
To who he writes this?
I'm not sure. This is what he writes in his Tshuva Narchayin Siman Kuf Lamed Hey. So Rabbi say again, tonight you have 3 candles. How many are you going to light? Rav Shach would say
3.
3. Beis Halevi would say
Depends which page.
same with page. Ksav Sefer would say 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You want to read
Yeah.
reasoning that you just said that it lasted for 8 days. Why isn't it should be the candle should be burning 24 hours a day?
Why do you only light at night?
Yeah.
Okay, so we discussed that a little bit on Friday, in a different.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh yeah, so.
Say it. Now is the time to say it.
We set up shot like this. We said, why do you light during the day? Especially the Rambam holds in the Beis Hamikdash, they lit the menorah during the day also. Right? The Rambam Shitas, they didn't just light the menorah at night, they lit the menorah during the day. If that's the case, it didn't just burn 8 nights, it burned 8 days also. So we said another kasha. The Gemara in Masechta Shabbos says they were matame kol hashmanim shebehechal. So we asked the kasha, what do you mean kol hashmanim shebehechal? But the oil was kept in the azara, and the azara is a rishus harabim. And there's a rule, Safek Tumah B'Shus Harabim, Tahar. So what do we need a miracle for? We could have just used the Tahar oil. So some want to say like this. But at night, even a Rishus Haram has a din of Rishus HaYachid. So we only needed the miracle for the nighttime, because in the night it has a din of Rishus HaYachid. So we needed miraculous Tahar oil. For the day we didn't. For the day we could have used the Tameh oil, because it was Safek Tumah. So therefore some want to say they were only Masak in the mitzvah at night, but that's for a different time. Okay. So everybody say, we want to bring a raya now.
Light menorah in the daytime in the shul.
No, because since L'inyan Yichud, it's considered private domain. Because it's dark, yeah. Okay. Rabbi say, we're going to see if we could bring a raya from the Rambam about this shaila of if you only have 2 candles on the 3rd night, how many candles you should light, right? After all, so far we're dealing with, the late Achronim, Reb Shach, the Beis Halevi, the Ksav Sofer. What do the Rishonim have to say about this issue, okay? So we're going to look at a tshuva in the Rambam, and maybe the tshuva of the Rambam could shed some light on this issue. This tshuva is brought down from the Avudraham. Yeah? By the way, I remember we were once giving a shiur, and the Beis Yosef quoted Reish Daled Avudraham. Reish Daled Avudraham. So we had a gentleman who I didn't know what that meant. Reish Daled Avudraham. Beis Yosef. We had a gentleman in our koilo, Mr. Tusk, Zechron Levracha, and he said Reish Rev David Avudraham. So Zecher Oyser Shotayva. So Reb David Avudraham, one of the Rishonim, he brings down the Rambam. Look at number 7. Nishal Harambam Zal. Mi shehidlik ner Chanukah. Someone who lit the ner Chanukah.
Haram is the Rambam?
Yeah. Haram Bam Zal. See that? In the Avudraham. Yeah. The Rambam was asked. Someone who lit ner Chanukah. Ubirei chalav. He made a bracha. V'achar kach hidlik neros acheros. And then he lit more candles. Im tzarech lachzor ulevarech eloi. Does he have to go back and make a bracha or not? V'chein pam achar pam. And so too each time.
Well, what's the kasha?
The question is, someone who lit ner Chanukah, and then he had more candles, and then he got more candles, and then he got more candles, and then he got more candles. Do you have to make a bracha each time? Says the Rambam, Beheshiv, Shezeho inyan chayzer lekavanas hamavarich. It depends what his kavana was when he made the bracha. K'may b'shar brachos. Like any other bracha. Im kishehidlik ner Chanukah ubarich alav. If when he made the bracha, ha'isa kavanas al halik neros acheros, he had in mind to light other candles, bracha achas l'kul, and then one bracha covers all of them. V'im birich v'hidlik v'achar kach nazam lo nes. But if he made a bracha, and not thinking about other candles, and he lit, and then more candles came, he has to make a bracha each and every time. Could someone tell me what was the question that the Rambam was posed with?
If you are lighting a candle and you light, and
Yeah.
then you get more candles, it means that you don't have enough candles to light. But here it said that you have to light more, right?
So apparently,
it's a kasha on the Rambam.
What?
It's a kasha on the Rambam.
Well, one second. The Rambam seems to be posed with a question. It was, let's say, the 8th night of Chanukah, and we only had one candle, so you made a bracha. And then more candles came your way. So do you make a bracha on the next 7 candles? And now the shaila is basically, do you make a bracha on Hiddur Mitzvah, or do you not make a bracha on Hiddur Mitzvah?
You
Here
do.
you already made
do.
it.
According to halacha, you do.
So according to halacha,
you do.
Because you already
it's a machlokes between the Pri Chadash and the Eliyah Rabbah.
Yes.
We see in the Tshuva Rabbi Kiveger.
Yeah.
Very good.
We just learned it.
Very good. But the Rambam seems to be posed with the question that it was on the 8th night of Chanukah, you only had one candle, you made a bracha. Now another 7 candles come your way. Do you now make a bracha? I already did the mitzvah, but I didn't do Hiddur Mitzvah. If that's the question that the Rambam is posed with, what does he mean, do you make a bracha? V'chein pam achar pam. It seems like from the Rambam It's the 8th night of Chanukah. You have 1 candle. And now someone brings you another 2 candles. Now the question is, should I make a bracha on those 2 candles? And now after I made a bracha on those 2 candles, someone brings you another 5 candles. So the Rambam seems to be saying that if when you made the original bracha, you didn't have in mind future candles, you need to make a bracha each and every time the candles are brought to you. According to the Rambam, it comes out you could end up making 8 brachos on the 8th night of Chanukah. But don't you see from the Rambam, not like the Ksav Sofer, and not like the Beis Halevi on page 57, but rather like the Psak of Reb Shach and like the Psak of the Beis Halevi on page 59, that on the 8th night of Chanukah, you light as many as you can. Because isn't that what the Rambam's saying? That you didn't have enough candles, you made a bracha, and then you lit more candles. Im tzarech lasa levarich olai v'chein pam achar pam. That means every time you get another candle, even though you don't have enough candles suitable for that night, you need to make a bracha as many as you can. Isn't that what the Rambam is saying? So this is a beferish raya, not like the Ksav Sofer. Says the Ksav Sofer, chas v'shalom. That's not what the Rambam is talking about. The Rambam doesn't mean to say that on the 8th night of Chanukah, 2 is better than 1, and then 3 is better than 2, and 4 is better than 3, and you make a bracha every candle you get. You know what the Rambam means? The Rambam means the following case. Right now you have 1 candle. And you know in 1 hour you're going to get another 7 candles. But between the time you light this 1 candle now and you get the other 7 candles later, there's going to be a very big hefsek. Should you not make a bracha now and make a bracha later when you light the other 7? In other words, should you light 1 candle now without a bracha and light the other 7 candles later with a bracha? Or do we say you should make a bracha pam achar pam? Not only when you get the other 7, but even now also. Says the Ksav Sofer, I'll tell you what the Rambam means. Really, on the 8th night of Chanukah, if you only have 2 candles, you light 1. You light 1. So what does the Rambam mean? You make a bracha pam achar pam. What the Rambam means is, if right now you know you're going to be getting other candles, but not as soon enough that it won't be a hefsek when you make the bracha now, you make a bracha now, and then you make a bracha when you get another 7. That's what the Rambam means. Okay.
Where it says?
Where does the Ksav Sofer say this? In number 6.
Second paragraph.
In the 2nd paragraph, about 6 lines up from the end, the Efsher, it's possible. Let's read it from the beginning. Amnam, Mashakasav Harambam. Look at number 6 in the 2nd paragraph. Shem nizdamin loy neros mavarich b'chol pam. Mashakasav b'chol pam eini yodea liftar. I don't understand. I can't interpret what the Rambam means. You make a bracha every time. Does the Rambam mean im kavanasai im nishenazdamin like miktzah Hashem and lahadlik hanay safais madlik umavarch? Does the Rambam mean every time you get a little bit more, you make another bracha? Umichenazdamin like oid mashma mavarich. So the Ksav Sofer doesn't want to say that, because the Ksav Sofer just said that if you don't have enough candles on the 8th night for 8, you don't light 2, you light 1. So therefore he says a few lines down, ve'efshir desfirle b'chol pam. You know from the beginning you're going to eventually get all the oil you need. But there's going to be a big hefsek between the bracha and when you're going to light it. Should you maybe don't make a bracha in the beginning, and you're going to rely on the bracha that you made afterwards, al nero shel hider. And it's going to be over lasiyasan kivan deshayach lemitzvah kamash malan. Therefore, says Ksav Sofer, what the Rambam is telling you: the yivarich b'chol pam b'fnei atzmai, make a bracha each time. The ikar habracha b'shas asiyas ikar hamitzvah. The main bracha is the time when you do the main mitzvah. Rabbi Say, let's get to the halacha l'maisa. What do you do halacha l'maisa on the 3rd night of Chanukah? You only have 2 candles. Do you light 1 or do you light 2? Says the Chayei Adam. Look at number 9. Let's say you don't have enough candles for all 8 nights. You only have 8 candles. Then what do? You light one every night. What do you do if you have 9 candles? Altogether. You light 1 the first night, 2 the second night, and then 1. What do you do if you have 10 total candles? You light 1 the first night, 2 the second night. Do you light 2 the third night? Or do you light 1 the third night? V'im yesh lo yud nira li, says the Chai Adam, de yadlik belel sheni shnayim. On the second night, you light 2, and on the third night, uv'lel gimel lo yadlik shnayim. Don't light 2 on the third night. De eino lo kamar, v'lo kamar. That is like nobody. So the Chai Adam is paskening not like Rav Shach, and not like the Beis Halevi on page 57, but he's paskening like the Ksav Sofer and like the Beis Halevi on page 59. Rabbi say, how does the Mishnah Berurah pasken? Mishnah Berurah in number 10 paskens like the Chai Adam. V'im yesh lo tes neiros, if you have 9, yadlik belel sheni shtei neiros. V'im yesh lo yud neiros, if you have 10, af al pikein lo yadlik rak belel beis. On the second night you shall light 2, uvelel gimel lo yadlik shtayim rak achas. So we would say, okay, it's open and shut. The Mishnah Berurah paskins halacha lemaisa that on the third night, if you only have 2, you light 1. So we would say that's it. There's nothing to talk about.
No.
Rav Chaim Kanievsky wrote a summary on the Mishnah Berurah.
Summary.
You ever see it? It's called Shaina Halachas, where he brings down Bekitzur, the Divrei Mishnah Berurah. He will not bring down the words of any other paisek, except if the Chazonish argues on the Mishnah Berurah, he'll write in parentheses, V'hachazonish chaylek. There is one exception in the entire Sefer where he brings down an opinion of a different paisek that argues on the Mishnah Berurah.
Yes.
And that is, if on the third night of Chanukah, you only have 2 candles, he brings down the Mishnah Berurah, you should only light 1, and then he says, Rav Shach argues.
Wow.
It's the only time he brings down in the whole Sefer the psak of anybody connected to the Mishnah Berurah besides Chazonish, and it's the only time he brings down Rav Shach's psak in the whole Sefer.
She's light 2.
That you should light 2. So
Why?
let's take a look. So why?
What's the pshat?
What's the pshat? What's the pshat? Look at number 12. Im yeh, this is from the Shaina Halachas Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Im yesh lo tes neiros, yadlik belel sheni shtei neiros. V'im yesh lo yud neiros, lo yadlik rak belel beis, v'lel gimel lo yadlik shtayim rak achas. V'ayin b'sefer Avi Ezri, hilchos Chanukah, shechaylek azeh. Look in the Avi Ezri, look in Rav Shach, he argues. So they asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, what's the pshat in your entire sefer? This is the only time you bring down any paisek connected to the Mishnah Berurah. It's the only time you bring down Rav Shach. And he says, I'll tell you why. Because I hold like Rav Shach. I hold like Rav Shach. Why do you hold like Rav Shach? He says, I have 2 open rayas to Rav Shach. Number 1, the Vilna Gaon writes, and we said it outside, that why does the Gemara bring down 2 pshatim in the Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel? It's to teach you that there's a nafkamina between the 2 reasons of Beis Hillel. That if you hold a mailam because of reason, you don't have to show what night it is. And if it's connected to Yomim HaYotzim, you have to show what night it is. And the Beis Halevi said that if on the third night you only have 2 candles, so according to the reason of the Gemara of mailam b'kodesh v'yein moridin, so I can't be maila, but at least I won't be myrid. So says the Vilna Gaon, you can look it up in the Bir Hagra. It's on number 17, that's not on the sheet. Look in the Bir Hagra. I'll give you the Maramakam. In Siman, I forgot to write the Siman on the new one. But the Bir Hagra is on the Shulchan Aruch, maybe Tafresh Ayin Aleph. Maybe Aleph. That on the Mechaber that says, look at the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon says if the Gemara concludes that there are 2 Zakanim, and the Man Da'omer that followed Beis Hillel, the reason he gave was because of Mailin, that means the Gemara paskins halacha l'maisa, you don't have to show what night it is. And says Rav Chaim Kanievsky, I have another raya tonight, psak. The Tshuvas HaRambam. Because the Tshuvas HaRambam says, Yivarech kol pam upam. What does it mean, kol pam upam? That means anytime you get more candles, even if it's not exactly how many you need, you put it in and you make a bracha. And according to the Rambam, you could end up making 8 brachos the 8th night of Chanukah. You start off with 1. If you get 2, you put in the second one, you make a bracha. You get a third one, you put in the third one, you make a bracha. Now we said the Ksav Sefer reads it differently. Mevarech kol pam upam, it just means if you have 1 candle now, but you know you're going to get another 7, make 1 bracha now and make another bracha when you get the other. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky writes, look at number 13, it's brought down in the Sefer Elohim HaMayada, the Sefer Shana Halachas Kaisev Esadin Shal Mishnah Brura, Hana B'Shem Chayadim, Shana Halachas brings down the psak of the Mishnah Brura, Shlo Yadlik Below Gimel Shtei Neros Arak Ner Echad, that you don't light 3 on, if you don't have 3 on the second, if you don't have 3 on the third night, you should light 1. The Haisav Sham, Rav Chaim Kanievsky adds, Sheba Sefer Avi Ezri Chaylek Alzeh. So the author of the Sefer, Mishmar Halevi, went to Reb Chaim Kanievsky, and he says, Reb Chaim, why are you bringing down the psak of Reb Shach in the Sefer Shana Halachas? He says, Baal Mishmar Halevi Koisev, Sheshal HaGrach Kanievsky, Kalei and Darke Lahavi Rakmi Mashach Chazanish Chalak HaMishnah Brura. Usually only bring down when the Chazanish argues. Veheshev LaHagoin, Sheyesh Lo Rayas, Kamar and Shlita. He has Rayas to Reb Shach, which is based on the Gra that we spoke out, and the Tshuvas HaRambam.
This was when Rav Shach was alive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Rabbi Isai, I just want to mention one additional thing. Why the Tshuvas HaRambam is not a kasha on the Mishnah Brura, right? Again, Rav Chaim Kanievsky is saying, there's a proof from the Tshuvas HaRambam who says, Mevarich b'chol pam upam, that as many candles as you have, just keep on putting them in. So we're going to learn why the tshuva of the Rambam has nothing to do with this question at hand. And this is based on the Nishmas Adam. The Nishmas Adam is a commentary of the Chaye Adam, a very small commentary the Chaye Adam writes in very tiny letters on the bottom of the Chaye Adam, but the Chaye Adam doesn't write this on Hilchas Chanukah. He writes this earlier in Siman Kuf Mem Ches, I believe in Hilchas Sukkos. Okay? He quotes the tshuva of the Rambam, and then he says on the last line, V'haya pashot she'elasai haya shem haya shliach lahadlik la'acherem v'imkein ma inyan zelazeh. Says the Chai Adam, the tshuva of the Rambam has absolutely nothing at all to do with a guy who on the 8th night of Chanukah has 1 candle and then an hour later he gets another candle and an hour later he gets another candle. The Rambam's not talking about making a bracha every time you get more candles. You know what the Rambam's talking about. You're the Gabbai of the city. And you have been appointed by 5 people called you up and they said, you have a beautiful voice. We love how you light the menorah with all the yichudim and the kavanas. We want you to come light our menorah. So he writes down, he has to go to Shloimi, to Beryl, to Yankel, to Feivel, and to Shmerel. Yeah, and to Reuven. So, thank you. So, he lights 5 people's menorah. How many brachas does he make? 1. He had in mind, he's going to light 5 people's menorah. Then he gets a call, he gets an email, a text message. Shimon wants him to light his menorah also. So now the question is, should he make another bracha on Shimon's menorah? So the Rambam says it depends what his kavanah was. If his kavanah was that the bracha should go on anyone who he's going to light for, he only has to make 1 bracha. But if he didn't have it in mind, he needs to make the bracha Pam Upam, every time. Not every time he gets another candle. The Rambam has nothing to do with this issue. Maybe the Rambam would say on the 8th night of Chanukah, if you only have 2 candles, you only light 1. So what does the Rambam mean? Mevarech kol pam upam. It means every time a guy calls you on the phone that you should light his menorah for him, you have to make another bracha for them if you didn't have them in mind. So it's beautiful. That's what the Nishmas Adam says, that's what the Rambam is talking about. The Baal Mishmar Halevi says that it's pashut that's what the Rambam is talking about. Why? Because if you actually take the time to look up the tshuva of the Rambam, look in number 15, this is the tshuva of the Rambam, which we know is called Shas Tshuvas Pe'er Hadar. The Rambam writes the exact same words, but he throws in 1 line that the Paiskim didn't quote. Davar zet taloi bekavanas hamavarich. Look in the answer. Kamai b'shar brachas. Amhaisa kavanas l'haitzi brachazu. Batim acherim. If he had in mind to be mitzi other houses, so the Rambam's clearly talking about not more candles, other houses. And then look what the Rambam says. Then bracha achaz lekulam. Ve'embirech v'hidlik v'achakam mizam labayis acheres. Yevarech pam acheres afilu Meya pa'amim, even 100 times. So please tell me, according to the Ksav Sefer and according to Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, what does the Rambam mean? Afilu meya pa'amim? You can't have more than 8 candles on one menorah. So what does the Rambam mean? Even 100 times?
Mea coals. 100
It
coals.
must be referring to other people's menorah.
100 coals. 100 coals.
So the Ksav Sefer quoted the Tshuva of the Rambam. It's possible he didn't have this gerus in the Tshuva Rambam because he doesn't bring down these words of Batim and these words of Mea Pa'amim. But if you look up the Tshuva of the Rambam, it's Mamish Klar. The Rambam's not talking about additional candles. He's talking about additional houses, additional people you're lighting for. And in that case, the Rambam has no bearing on this issue. But Lamais Halach Lamais Mishabura Paskins, if on the third night of Chanukah you have 2 candles, you light 1. The Rav Shach argues. Rav Chaim Kanievsky argues. But the conclusion of the Mishnah Berurah is, if you don't have enough for the night, you only light 1.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.